Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Blonde Moment. So last week we had talked about mama's boys, right? Me and my friends were having a conversation, and we were talking about kind of like the dynamic between mothers and daughters, and how sometimes moms are. I, Let me just preface this: I don't have kids, and I'm just speaking in general of how, from my experience, I am a daughter. um Me and my sister have the same mom. um my friends have moms, going off of that. And one of my friends, a couple of my friends actually have daughters. And I just feel like in general, especially now that I'm an adult, I understand that our parents are just more adultier adults just because they've been adults longer than us, but they're still human. They don't have it all figured out. And in raising us, they're just doing the best that they can. So I'm by no means, trying to villainize mothers or anything like that. But, in the process of doing the best that they can, sometimes it ends up being harmful. But instead of like diving into a personal situation, what I want to dive into is my new favorite movie. I love Encanto. Encanto came out on Disney Plus, and it came out in movie theaters, and I have watched it 3 times already. I will admit this, okay? When Encanto first came out, I was hating on it. I was hating on it because so when I'm working, I like to listen to happy things. Well, it just depends on what I'm in the mood for. So let me not say that, because sometimes I do have a playlist that's like one good cry playlist, and it's some good breakup R&B songs, boy. Sometimes you just need that. But one of the playlists that I have on my phone is the Disney, I think it's greatest hits or something like that, or the Disney hits. And when the movie came out, as soon as the movie dropped, there were songs on this playlist. And I'm like, how they just gonna say it's a hit already? We don't even know these people. We don't know these folks. This movie just came out. How you gonna go up against Let It Go? How you gonna go up against Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? Okay? How you gonna go up against poor unfortunate souls? You know what I'm saying? These are heavy hitters that have stood the test of time. You just got here and you already on the hit list? Like, what is this? Then my friends, two of my best friends, saw the movie before I did. And when I described, I was like, well, I saw the preview at the movies, and this is what happened, and this and that. And they were like, that's just telling the whole movie. I'm going to still watch it, but I'm going to watch it when I want to watch it, because whatever. Watched it and fell in love. Like most people who have seen the movie, it's bomb. They love it. It's great. And I know part of it is because the characters are so relatable. Even though, you may not have those superpowers, which I believe majority of us do not, but still you can find yourself in one of those characters. So what I wanted to discuss today was how Abuela, being the matriarch of the family, the pressure that she put on the entire family was obvious in the movie. But one TikToker pointed out something that I didn't notice, and I want to talk about how she put more pressure on the women of the family than she did the men. And I believe that's probably from her expectation and her experience, just knowing that for her, she had to be strong when she lost her husband. So she made it work. And even though her daughters ended up having husbands, I still expect you to do your thug thizzle. Like, don't let this man slow you down. Don't let these kids slow you down. Like, you still have a job to do with helping the community. They were still expected to do that. And especially even with the grandchildren, like Dolores, these are not spoilers, or maybe they are. This is probably going to end up being some spoilers. So if you have not seen Encanto yet, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you probably should stop watching right now, because I'm about to be dropping names and I'm about to be dropping some information, even though this is more about the characters, what they expressed to us in the movie, not necessarily telling the movie. But you need to go watch it, because where have you been? Like, it's the greatest. Okay. But like, they were well, Luisa said it in her song. She basically said she's pretty sure she's worthless if she can't be of service. And that's kind of how Abuela treats all of them, but then it's also how the people of the town treat them. So one of my favorite quotes that I'm trying to keep in mind as I'm like going through my own self-healing, self-worth, self-love journey, always on the path to bettering myself, as we all should be. People only treat you how you allow them to treat you. So, and how they see others treat you, then they're going to think they can treat you the same way. So in respects to Mirabelle, everybody in the family kind of dismisses her like, oh, she the one who ain't got no powers, whatever. Like, she can do whatever. She just need to get out the way. And that's how the people in the town treat her. Let me tell you how mad I was when the first song finished and old boy was like, oh, here's your not special special. Who you talking to? Excuse me. First of all, I'm still a madrigal, okay? Don't get it twisted, okay? You feeling yourself a little bit too much, Playboy, okay? Don't make me go get my sister and have her sock you through the face. And then let's not, and I'm talking about Louisa, but let's not forget that Isabella did punch, what was the man's name? Mariano. She socked him with a flower. So don't let her come up, okay? Don't let me go get my auntie and then she strike you with lightning like, what's up? Don't make me go get my cousin and then, she could tell your deepest, darkest secrets or something like that. Like, I don't know what Dolores's power would do to harm someone besides tell they business. But still, I still love me some Dolores. That's not shade against her. I'm just thinking about who could actually commit some violence or whatever. But yeah, I also feel like going back to Abuela's expectations of the women of the family, I think again she had to do it by herself without her husband. Then when Bruno left, it was like, oh, so I don't need to depend on these men because you're gonna leave one way or the other. To me, that's how I took it, because there was no she couldn't expect anything from Bruno because she thought he left. But after that, it was just, y'all need to perform, y'all need to be tip top, y'all need to be on point. Okay, so a TikToker brought up the point that everybody's door kind of showcased Abuela's expectations of them. So when she was talking about how she was a different woman and she's like walking down the hall, she's not even looking at her family. She just has the candle in her hand and she is straightforward. That's all I'm concerned about is this magic. Y'all being people, y'all having feelings, y'all needing a break, y'all being tired of, trying to uphold what our family stand for. Save it. They ain't got nothing to do with me. This is what we need to do. I need you to go back to work. I need you to listen to when I tell you to listen to. I need you to continue being perfect. Fix it. You know what I'm saying? I need you to shape shift into whoever I need you to be so that way we can achieve this goal. And she hadn't figured out how to use Antonio's power yet because he just got it. But, control the animals and make them go to work too. I don't know. So, yeah, when she's walking down the hallway with the candle and bypassing all the cousins, she's not looking at them. But then they notice that Camillo's door still has him as a young boy, which that makes sense for Antonio because he's 5. He just got his power. But on Luisa's door, she looks current age. On Isabella's door, she looks current age. On Dolores's door, she looks current age. But being that Camillo was still a small child on his door, it's kind of like, I don't expect much from you. You just... Yep. Like, that's what it seems like, because I don't know their ages. Isabella is older. Isabella and Luisa is older. And that's why they were like, okay, you need to get married and have 5 babies with this man. But, yeah, I feel like even when he became of age, I don't even think they would just let him be. It's fine, whatever. We already done expanded the family madrigal with the ladies over here, so he can do whatever. But the expectation of the women was a lot more, in my opinion. I love the movie. I want them to have a sequel. Disney, I need you to get on that. Disney, I need you to get on In Encanto 2, call it dos. I don't want to mess up the language, but the song that's two caterpillars, call it Encanto two caterpillars in Spanish. I don't want to mess up the language, but let's get that. And please, I mean, to me, it always goes downhill when they decide to make it like a TV series. Like, please don't do that, because I don't want to watch it on Disney Channel. I want another movie. Let's explore further into everyone like opening up, because that was so powerful when Mirabelle was actually able to see them. So like Abuela could not see them. She only saw their power and what they were useful for with their powers. Being that Mirabelle didn't have any powers, you're not really useful. You're just kind of here. So go somewhere. But Mirabelle was actually able to see them for them. So I love that. And I would love the part 2 to go deeper into that, because yes, we got Tia Peppa to, open up and just, hey, I'm allowed to feel my feelings. Sometimes that may mean it's going to rain, it's going to hail, it's going to snow. Sometimes it's going to be sunshiny too. But like, that's a lot to just be happy and sunshiny all the time. So she gets to feel her feelings. But like, oh, excuse me. Let's continue going down the line. And then Isabella doesn't have to be perfect all the time. Her being herself is perfect enough. Louisa can take a break. All this expectation weighing on her shoulders to just be a workhorse, essentially. And yeah, but I want to dive deeper into that. Like, how does her mom feel? Julieta? I should not. Her mom. Mirabelle's mom. We'll just go with that, because I don't want to mess up people's names. Mirabelle's mom feel like, I want to know if her food is actually good. I do want to know that, because just because the food can heal you doesn't mean that it tastes good. So I want to know that, and how that was like discovering that power. Or maybe the door tells you what your power is or something. So, and what if Mirabelle's mom, her door just led her like right to the kitchen? Like, does she have a room? Because we didn't see the adults' rooms, just Bruno's. And going into Dolores, like, that has to be, she wants to be seen other than, oh yes, I spy all the time. And there has to be stuff that she's heard. She's keeping secrets. Like, she knew Bruno was in the walls the entire time. Like, she been holding on to that. But at first I was mad at her, because I'm like, if she could hear everything, how come she couldn't hear he was in the walls? And then she did say at the end that she could. But I feel like being that she hears everything is kind of like, I know he doesn't want to be found, so let me not tell where he is. And then in the song, We Don't Talk About Bruno, it was all Tia Peppa's children who were singing the song. I feel like she could have asked her sisters or her mom or her uncles, not her uncle, excuse me, her uncle and her dad about Bruno as well. But I mean, Uncle Hector is his name, I think. He was there and she was able to ask him, but it's like, it seemed like, why they got to tell the story? You know what I'm saying? Because it to me, it seemed like, you ruined my wedding, so I'm going to teach my children that you ain't shit. That's what it seemed like to me. Because like, we don't talk about him. We don't like him because he ruined my wedding. No, forget him. Forget him. So, but throughout the movie with getting back on track, because we done got all over the place, so we're gonna get back on track. Even though Abuela was tough on the women in her family, and to me it seemed like she had higher expectations for the women in her family. She went through a lot, and that's what we learned, is like, that was her trauma response. She was not trying to she wasn't trying to scar them or make them traumatized, if you will. I don't even know if they're traumatized or excuse me. Abuela was not trying to put them through that. That was not intentional. And I've been seeing some different think pieces about that from people with immigrant families, but I feel like it resonates for people of color in general, not just immigrant families. But I can see it especially with immigrant families, because your parents have these expectations for you because if you're first generation American, or if you were brought over here at a young age, your family sacrificed so much. Again, Abuela sacrificed so much for you to have this life. Granted, that was not her intention to sacrifice that much, but we're not gonna focus on that. So she sacrificed a lot, and then they were given their gifts. So I expect you to do the most, do your best, be amazing with these gifts. We are the amazing Madrigals. We got to live up to this name. And so the same thing with, I can see with immigrant children, your family, your parents sacrificed so much for you to live this life in America. So I expect you to be great. You need to go be somebody's doctor. You need to be somebody's scientist. You need to have a really good job, and usually those are two. You need to major in math or science. I need you to be somebody's biologist. I mean, I really don't want you to be a teacher. I need you to be maybe a professor. Let's bump it up a little bit. Be somebody's doctor. Like, I need you. I don't want you to be an athlete. I don't need you to be an athlete. You can play sports on the side of going to school, but you're not gonna be like no full-time athlete. Like, no, we're not doing that. So, and then as far as people of color, because we're always taught, which it is true because of the spaces that we're in. As a black woman, I can say, like, you're taught that you can't just be good. Like, I do like to walk in the room with the confidence of a mediocre white man, but I cannot perform like a mediocre white man on my job, because as a black woman, I'm expected to be great at everything, or they gonna find somebody else. Like, it's as simple as that. We have to be twice as good, as they say. And yeah, that pressure is definitely put on us by our families, but it's also put on us by society. So I can't fully just blame our parents for that, because that does entail societal pressures. So I think I've rattled on about that long enough, because I will go into this movie and we will dissect and break it down. If y'all want that, let me know in the comments below. Also, do you feel like my theory, well, not my theory, but my thoughts on the pressures that Abuela was putting on the women more than the men? Do you agree with that? Do you disagree? Drop that down in the comments below. Also, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and tap that notification bell so that way you're notified the next time I drop a new video. Until next time, bye.